to them, and then straight away they come and attack again. Martin Lynch, William McCreary, huge gaps opening up, and Brian Murphy, one to fall. I think what happened there was that David Byrne actually straightened him up. He'd have been on the ground only for David Byrne running him with the shoulder, straightened him up, but he was quick enough to get out to Tig Brennan, and when things are going with you, the ball strikes Paddy Christie on the line, rebounds off his tie up into the net, game on, and Dublin never recovered from that.
We did not. Gentlemen, we're going to go back to Croke Park again briefly. We're running out of time here on the programme, but we still have the man of the match from today's Leinster football final replay to decide.
Well, how do you follow that? Well, you follow it in this case with the announcement of man of the match. Tony, I suppose at half-time, we were talking about somebody from Dublin, probably still should be talking about somebody from Dublin, but they only got 1 point in the second half. Yeah, well, you couldn't actually give man of the match to anyone from Dublin after the second half performance. Thinking about it at half-time, it will be all Dublin and not one Kildare player. You have Paddy Christie, Paddy Andrews, the two midfielders, Jason Sherlock. They all played excellently in the first half, but you couldn't give them just scoring a point in the second half. Now, looking at Kildare, it was ultimately a team effort for Kildare. In the end of the day, it was a game for 90 seconds for them when they got their 2 goals. So we're going to give I'm going to give man of the match. Well, you're to blame. To Dermot Earley. He got the first goal, and when he went out midfield, he had a significant impact on the game. Glenn Ryan was excellent at centre back. Also, Martin Lynch played very well. Brian Murphy, when he came on at half-time, also played very, very well in the full forward line. He did simple things. He won simple ball and laid it on. It was that 90 seconds that won it for Kildare, and it was started by Dermot Earley, so I go with Dermot Earley. Okay, sounds good enough to me. I'm not quite sure will it be known as our congratulations to Dermot Earley, our man of the match.
Yeah, I'm sure the Kildare don't care what you call it at this stage. The only thing that interests them is the fact that they're Leinster champions again and back into the All-Ireland semi-final. I have to say, Dermot Earley certainly got the critical goal there, Pat Spillane. I thought Pádraig Brennan had a key role in that. I mean, 5 points on difficult frees and points in play as well.
Well, I would hate to disagree with Tony, but as he said himself, it was he made the decision, not we made the decision. No, I would have gone for Pádraig Brennan, a guy who played tremendous for the entire 70 minutes, who always had come and got some very, very vital frees, 2 points from play. He put in a 70-minute performance. Dermot Earley put in 15 minutes at the start of the second half. But anyway, Tony...
Well, I thought actually that Glenn Ryan was outstanding. Dermot Earley did play a critical role, and Pádraig Brennan was good. But the transformation came because the Dublin players who were totally dominant in the first half, it turned exactly opposite the second half. William McCreary and Martin Lynch and Glenn Ryan and Dermot Earley dominated. Kieran Whelan went out of the game, Brian Steins went out of the game, and the only Dublin player who really held up in that sector was Jonathan McGee. So you had a complete transformation where you had one player dominating another the first half, and then it changed completely.
We're disagreeing with Tony, but however, that's just our opinion against his. But the point of it is, like, one of the things that has to be said is Kildare certainly, for one reason or another, could find themselves scoring in the second half. And we saw a point from William McCreary that actually clinched it at that stage, put them 5 ahead. But they couldn't do this to save their lives in the first half.
Yes, well, Pat was saying Kildare changed and started to move the ball quicker. I think they ran Dublin off their feet with the short passing style. And William McCreary, again, who's not noted for kicking points, and he had missed a couple of chances here in the day, but it shows that he had the confidence to go for it at that stage. And they started to kick the points. Maybe there was a magnet there behind the goal like that, because you have to look at Kildare scored 2 goals and 6 points in the second half. Dublin got 1 point. An incredible change around, an 11-point change around in the second half.
Tommy Carr will be bewildered, I'm sure, after that match.
Well, he'd probably be out of a job as well as being bewildered too, because I'd say for him, he probably saw that he had got things right in the first half. It looked as if Dublin played the best football under his term for 35 minutes. It was really sparkling, champagne stuff, and then the whole thing blows up in his face. He probably has nowhere to go now.
I think before going, because I'd like to congratulate my former mentor, Micko, on like he's just one hell of an amazing man. And I mean, people say he's in it for money or whatever, but geez, that was, look, it was a bit...
He's pulled you through a couple of All-Ireland medals.
He pulled me, he's a great man, and I don't know how he keeps going, but fair play to him. He could have done, he didn't panic like last Sunday. Often he could have panicked and taken Keenan off. Today, he never panicked at half-time, as Carol said, played to their game plan, and fair play to him, and I'm delighted for him.
So, Galway against Kildare then, Colin?
Well, Kildare are the team that never dies, you know. They have transformed themselves in the space of a decade from a team that used to have a fairly soft centre. When I was playing against them, say, 15 years ago, they would die easily. Now, it doesn't seem to matter. No matter how far they're behind, they're going to keep coming back at you and keep coming back at you.
And once you get this belief into your heads as well.
Yes, it's very, and I have hitched myself to the lily white wagon, and I'm just going to stay on board now.
All right, Pat.
Well, I'm the same. I think, I mean, I told a statistic a couple of weeks ago where only Galway have scored more scores from play. 12 points from play is the most that has been conceded in any championship match against Kildare under the Wires Rain. Only Galway better that.
Yeah.
And Kildare were very poor on the day. Looking back at that final again, I think Kildare have come on a ton since then. And like I said, I stuck with Kildare for the replay today, and I'm sticking with Kildare to get to the final.
I suppose the reality also is, I mean, there's the incentive there now of Galway. They'll be telling themselves the next couple of weeks, it's Galway again. You could have won it in '98.
Like I said at half-time, the character is there in this team. They came back against Louth, came back against Offaly, came back against Dublin today. There's a never-say-die spirit, but what's different about this Kildare team is that they're scoring a little bit more, slightly.
They're only doing it in one half, but I suppose it counts as giving them the Leinster title. Now, just before we wrap up, let me tell you, of course, we have more live GAA coverage tomorrow afternoon. Do please join us at 1:45 on Network 2. That's for the All-Ireland Minor Semi-Final between Galway and Offaly, and that's followed